And now it's our favorite time. It's quiz time! Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the first question from last week. What should you be doing when others are talking?
Well, the obvious answer is listening, but beyond listening, you should be thinking. So be thinking while others are talking and not just accepting what they're saying.
Okay, next question. When we can't control the outcome of something, what should we do?
Well, you should consider the future consequences of what could happen and act accordingly.
And the third question is, what are 3 examples in your life where actions had unintended consequences, and what could you have done differently?
Yeah. So I thought about this. Last week I gave you all the negatives of unintended consequences. You know, if you buy a house, an unintended consequence is you reduce your flexibility in where you can live. If you get a job, you've got a flexibility problem. In your house also you have an issue with making the payments. So you actually have to keep the job.
Well, all the extra payments, like the heating and the insurance and all those other things you didn't think about.
That's right. Unintended consequences of buying a house. So I thought I'd take 3 quick examples that I thought of that are positive unintended consequences. For example, when I was younger, I worked at a pizza place, and I worked really hard, and people kind of knew me for that. And then one of these guys that I knew from a brother, sister's, cousin's friend that came in offered me a job, and that's actually how I moved out of being a pizza guy into, you know, an office building and, you know, starting to do engineering.
That was quite an unintended consequence.
Yeah, I was making pizza, and because they knew that I worked hard at the pizza place, he goes, well, come work hard for me. Another thing was I was involved in a study group for an exam in my doctoral program, and we bonded, and I was just trying to get through the exam, as was everybody else, but we bonded, and now we're turning out actual journal articles. We did an article recently for the Journal of Banking and Finance, which was accepted as a journal paper, and that's pretty cool as an academic.
That's a highly esteemed
journal. Yeah, it's a good accomplishment. And one of the other things we did was I volunteered for a committee way back when I was working back in Pennsylvania, and it was kind of a silly committee. It was like on how to put the trade show together and so on. Well, the president of the entire organization heard about what I was doing and being part of it, and he was going to thank people. So the time he came up to thank me, I just happened to be standing next to all the executives in our company. And he walks up to me and goes, "Are you Doug?" And I go, "Yeah." And everybody's like, "Hey, that's the big whoop-de-doo." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Doug." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'd like to thank you for all your hard work. I think you're doing a fantastic job, blah, blah, blah." And I go, "Oh, like, didn't you share CEO?" And he goes, "Oh, nice to meet you. So, Doug." And I was like, okay, that was really cool.
Good timing.
That was an unintended consequence of just doing, you know, a good job for the people. So there's lots of unintended consequences of your actions. And so what should I have done about them? Well, what you can learn from this is you do a little more volunteering, do a little extra, and when you get to a study group, you be a good part of the study group, and then, of course, hard work. And sometimes you get recognized for that.
Hard work always pays off.
That's really cool. One more question?
Okay, last question is, does a buy and hold investment strategy always work?
Well, a buy and hold investment strategy can work, but it usually doesn't work for all time periods or all investments. So you shouldn't blindly follow an investment, a generic investment advice such as buy and hold. You know, blind squirrels might find an acorn once in a while, but blind squirrels are skinny. So you need to keep your eyes wide open.
Okay, well, what do you have for us this week?
Easy questions this week. How does a negative interest rate bond work? What is a negative interest rate bond? What is a liquidity trap? Would be the second question. The third question is what you do if you feel you're being manipulated. So this gets into the questions we were talking about before. And the next question that we will cover in the next segment under viewer mail is, given a choice between 5 model portfolios, what should you do? So that'll be a good question.
One.
Stay tuned for that in viewer mail, and good luck with the quiz.